I want wrestlers to do whatever they want to do. They're human beings, for goodness sake, let them pick their job. But as nerd fans, it is cool to look at both sides and see what could happen if some super duper whooper stars went to the other side. So with that in mind, welcome my friends, I am Simon Miller, and his 10 superstars who would make quite the splash if all of a sudden they jump ship. Number 10, AJ Styles. So I am being selfish here, and I do apologize. But after seeing AJ Styles head to Japan and face Marufuji and Noah recently, I need to see as many non-WWE matches with the Phenomenal One as possible. That's right. It's not like Styles won't continue to be the man in WWE, but the truth is we have seen him face a lot of people on that roster just because of time. Incredibly, AJ has almost been there for 10 years. You can also work differently in other promotions just due to the fact you'll be in front of a new fan base, and as Styles himself has said, he has more years behind him than in front of him. Realistically, AJ will likely finish off his career in WWE and continue to have banger matches all over the place, and who knows? Given the relationship between WWE and TNA, maybe some huge things are on the horizon anyway. I do want to point out that AJ Styles is already a Hall of Famer. I think sometimes we forget this. He changed the game. Without him, who the flub knows where we'd be today. Number 9, Natalia. This one is not happening. Recently came out that Natalia has signed a new WWE contract, and good. She has earned that. Natty does not get the credit she deserves. Not only is she just a great wrestler, but nearly every woman who has been through the company over the last decade has said how helpful Natty was. You can't buy that sort of experience either. It comes through sheer education in the ring. I'm still hoping Natalia gets one last proper push because in the current climate that would rule. That's why people want to see her elsewhere. In an AEW, she'd like to become the champion at the very least and be positioned as a constant threat. That's something else WWE needs to do. She fades into the background too much. Natalia has way more to offer than that. Natty is an awesome trainer to boot, which ties into the above. If an AEW or the like could sign her, you're getting like 3 wrestlers in one. I just hope she got that bag. Again, earned. Number 8, MVP. So I'm not entirely sure what's happening with MVP at the moment, so we should tread carefully. Because recently he did make it clear that he would like at least one last match, if not an entire run. It doesn't really sound like WWE is the place for that. There was a recent situation where MVP was very critical of Triple H, and then a few weeks after that, it turned out him and Bobby Lashley's contracts were up, and they were likely going to go elsewhere. He's still only 50 years old though, so time is on his side, and as we have seen from his managerial work, you give him the right guy, and he can be of help no end. The thing is, if him and Bob are both looking to move, and Shelton Benjamin is a free guy too, well, maybe it is time to reunite the Hurt Business. They still have so much more to give. You don't have to do that in All Elite Wrestling either, because even a New Japan would be super duper good. Or hey, why not TNA? They're banging it right now too. So this one should be very interesting over the coming days and weeks, and let's face it, by the time you hear my voice, it may have already happened. Number 7, Michin. Mia Yim is not having the worst 2024. She has whacked Nia Jax with a kendo stick on SmackDown a few times and had some really good matches down in NXT. That is better than when she just vanishes for a while. That never helps. I think the wider issue is that when you do see her in positions like this, you remember that Michin can go. WWE isn't going to take full advantage of that. Maybe it would be best if she could fly her wings somewhere else. Where she fits in is the question, as AEW is pretty packed at the moment, and there's every chance she's perfectly content right now. And that's good. That's the point of it all. Hopefully her time will come eventually, because I just think Michin could surprise some people. She's way better than we think. I do get it. Until recently, we haven't been able to see it. Also, what an endorsement of the WWE Women's Division right now. Even the performers under the radar could go at a moment's notice. That is not the worst position to be in. Number 6, Dragon Lee. I think this is more me asking WWE to use Dragon Lee more than him jumping ship. The reason he signed with them and not AEW is because he felt like there were more opportunities this side. He's likely right. WWE needs more of this type of wrestler, not less. There were real moments of excitement too, like when Dragon first arrived on SmackDown. Then he got stuck with the LWO and sort of just stopped being as focused on. I thought he would be right within that US title mix. I do agree that in All Elite Wrestling, his in-ring powers would be given a greater chance to shine, but that's almost why WWE is the smarter place. Few can do what he does, so he stands out more. So this could be another one where we need patience, because as and when WWE want to get behind him, he will soar through the skies. Both literally and figuratively, he's a dragon. It's not like we haven't seen him in other companies too, so now I'm arguing against myself. Do find ourselves at the moment though, it's almost like we need an extra hour of TV. Lying, we absolutely do not. 5, Pete Dunne. I actually think WWE is about to prove us wrong. Very sadly though, Tyler Bate did tear his pec recently, meaning he's gone till 2025. All the best of that guy, that's not fun. While at first we assumed tag team partner Pete Dunne would just hang out in NXT though, we've actually done the opposite. He's still eyeing up the NXT title, but he also arrived on Raw and attacked Sheamus. He's mad how that dude treated the Brawling Brutes. So that's quite the backing, and Triple H has made it clear over the years he is a Peter fan. I think for sure he has to ride this one out. Dunne has also produced some episodes of WWE Speed, and let's not forget he's only just 30 years old. He could be a WWE lifer at this point, so really, take him out of this list. He shouldn't be here to begin with. Pete Dunne is going to do just fine. Number 4, Karrion Kross. Now let's see he has a chat with Triple H and figures out what the deal is. Now to be fair, Karrion Kross and Scarlett always sound very happy to be back with WWE. That's all I care about. Pleases me. The thing is though, even though we do have the Final Testament stable and they're doing okay, they also don't really do much of anything. It could be that we're holding fire until the Judgment Day and move on, but that also seems like a risk. Who the flub knows where their end date is? I suppose now that the game is in charge, I am just hoping for the return of NXT Kross. He was so good down there and quite clearly tailor-made for the main roster. The only reason it didn't work out is because Vince McMahon went and ruined it. This is why going elsewhere could help Kross, because he can reset and remind everybody on this. Or, WWE can just do it. So it is a super interesting one. I don't really know what the best thing to do is. The old Karrion booked in the G1, for example, would rule. He could flub up some fools, and that rhymes, so it must be true. Sadly, I don't think that's going to happen. Number 3, Shayna Baszler. So, here we go again, Simon Miller's usual rant. The only reason I want Shayna Baszler to go somewhere else is because we can see it in Bloodsport. I suppose that does explain why she doesn't have to do it, as she can have both, but Baszler is right there, man. This is the badass she needs to be. It's the same as how she was portrayed in NXT before Shayna got main rostered, although let's be fair, she still had a really good run. We just don't play often enough to her strengths. In an AEW, that is all we would do, because why else hire her? And I would love a world where Baszler just destroys an entire division and becomes the monster champion for a while. Not like she can't do it, we have quite literally seen her do it. I mean, few have a legit background like hers, and she just carries herself so well. Even after being scared of a doll during the pandemic era, you still think Shayna could straight up murder y'all. I have a weird feeling WWE may do this at one point in the future, like one final big push. Or maybe I'm just being an optimistic Oliver. That's better than being a sad panda. But let's carry on. Number 2, Santos Escobar. This goes back to the Legado del Fantasma LWO thing. I mean, let's just compare them to the Judgment Day or the Bloodline. I'm not saying either group needs to be the main event of the show. Much like WWE has done really well with stacking both Raw and SmackDown with stories, I feel like we need to get that done with one of the groups now too. Santos Escobar is at the front of that. Ever since he turned heel, he reminded people how good he can be, and he never has bad matches. It's not in his chemical makeup. After his feud with Rey Mysterio ended, though, he just hasn't done much. Santos didn't even make it into the Money in the Bank match, and that seemed perfect for him. It depends on what he's aiming for in his career, of course, but you'd have to imagine in AEW he'd have a bigger chance to prove his wrestling prowess. At the same time, maybe there he'd be involved in less stories. Saying that, yeah, that is what's happening in WWE. So Escobar is in an interesting position, and fingers crossed whatever we do, he gets something bigger. His time is now. I am sorry, John. Number 1, Shinsuke Nakamura. I mean, he seems really content. I do feel like we need to get that out there. But we all know the Shinsuke Nakamura legacy, and let's not pretend it's dead. As soon as we did that feud with Cody Rhodes in 2024, it was like a light bomb going off. The man has lost nothing. And this doesn't mean Shinsuke needs to start having strong style matches again. But as of me talking, we haven't seen him on Raw or SmackDown in months. I can't even remember what brand he's on. Given his history, though, if he did head to AEW, I tell you, as soon as that music hit, fans would lose their minds. And as Tony Khan is all about legends, at the very least, he would get a giant push out the gates. It would totally rule. That would also open the door for Nakamura to go back to New Japan should he wanted. Because I am a massive geek, that gets me excited. Nostalgia is a powerful drug. At 44, it's not like Shinsuke hasn't done it all, but I'm selfish, damn it. I need one more spot of madness just so I can remember one last time. Then sure, he can go and surf forever, and you know what? More power to him.